Our viewers, thank you so much for joining us here at the Entrepreneur TV. My name is Lucien Jeffrey. I'm grateful to have you. We use the Entrepreneur TV here at Rogers TV to bring forward the business community, for you to be able to see what's going on and for you to see who you need to go to when you need services. This show is sponsored by the Entrepreneur Nation, and the Entrepreneur Nation is a business development group here in London, Ontario, that we started so we can be able to support businesses in a structured way. My name is Lucien Jeffrey. I'm the host and producer of this show that I've been doing for almost 4 years now to support the businesses in London and surrounding areas. Today, I have a great guest who is going to speak to us about how he has been working to support businesses and employers and their employees in Canada. So we have Vick Ramachandran, and Vick Ramachandran is the CEO and founder of Labor Day. So he's going to tell us a little bit more about this when I'm bringing him forward for us to see him. So let me turn the screen to welcome Vick. Hi, Vick. How are you doing?
Hi, Lucy. It's good to be here, and I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Wonderful. I'm so happy to have you, Vick. We've been wanting to have you for a while because what you're doing is so important for the community, for the businesses, and for the employers and for the employees.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. So without wasting your time then, Vick, I know you're busy, I wanted to ask you to quickly introduce yourself to our viewers so they can get to know you and know how, where you came from in terms of getting to where you are to offer the services that you offer.
Sure. Hi, everyone. It's good to meet all of you and to speak today. So, I came to Canada in 2004 from Singapore. I grew up in Singapore. My family is there. And I came to Canada in 2004, went to the University of Windsor. And when I was in the University of Windsor, my professor encouraged me to step out and start a business. And following my professor's encouragement, I did. And from then till now, this is where we're at.
Awesome, great. I'm happy that your professor encouraged you, and I'm happy that you came from Singapore. I've always wanted to visit Singapore. I hear it's a beautiful country. It's a Commonwealth country, is that correct?
That is correct. It is a Commonwealth country, and it is beautiful. You will definitely enjoy your time there. There's lots to see and do, and lots of food to enjoy.
Awesome, great. Thank you then for letting us know of that. So then you went to the University of Windsor and your professor encouraged you to become an entrepreneur. What exactly did you do there that made you become an entrepreneur?
Sure. So my professor encouraged me to set up a business. My background was in IT. I worked in various .com companies in the early 2000s. So I had a lot of knowledge about how IT systems work, how websites and whatnot work. So I set up a consulting business, and I was helping businesses with their web presence, creating websites and creating systems around being on the web. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. So IT background, that's great. And so then your professor, and I like it that the professor encouraged you to become an entrepreneur. So then you started Resonant Business Solutions. Is that what you started first before we go to Labor Day? Just to show that your entrepreneurial journey, can you tell us a little
Sure.
bit where you started the businesses?
Yeah. Sure. So when I started Resonant Solutions back in 2005 or six, my professor told me that there are lots of people that need help with websites, and they said, you should go ahead and try to reach out to these people. So we did, and we had quite a number of companies that wanted to use our services, and so we started helping them to create websites. We helped them create web applications, and then in 2012 I met my wife Jane. 2010 I met my wife Jane. We got married in 2012. My wife is a business consultant, and in 2013 we set up Resonant Business Solutions so that we can do business consulting as well as IT consulting. And then in the course of time, with the engagement with our clients, over time we set up Laborly in October of 2020.
Awesome, great. So thank you to hear about your journey from Singapore to Canada to University of Windsor to the professor saying, Vic, I think you can become an entrepreneur, and you did, and you started one business to build websites. I think you have built great websites even for universities, if I'm not wrong. I saw that on your website, Vic. Is that correct?
Yes, we helped we helped the University of Windsor with some consulting, and then we helped a lot of municipalities around the Windsor Essex region. But this was way back in 2000, like 2007, 2009, quite a long time ago.
Awesome, great. So then now you came from, building the websites, and now you came up with another business. It's a staffing company that you're helping employers and their employees. Can you please tell us about Liberty?
Sure, yeah. So in my interactions with my clients, we have one client who worked in the staffing industry for mining. So their job was basically to provide labor to the mining industry up north in Sudbury. And when they approached us, they had told us that the processes were very manual and required a lot of paperwork, took a lot of time, and they wanted to know if there was any way that we could streamline and optimize those processes. So once we had undertaken a study and figured out how they were doing what they were doing, we realized that yes, we could use technology to better improve the process and make it a lot more seamless for them. And so that is how we built the concept behind Labely. Just a note here, we're not an staffing agency. We're a software platform that staffing agencies can use. So we're not the ones that are employing. Our clients are the ones that do the employment. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Lucy?
Awesome, great. That's really great to know that it's a mining company up north that made you think about it. So then how does the platform Liberty, and I've gone to the website, it's really a very extensive platform. How does it help employers? Because you helped the employer in the mining industry, but then you decided to extend it to other employers. How does it help employers to save time in their hiring process?
Sure, that's a great question, Lucy. So when we were helping the companies in the mining industry, as some of you may know, in the mining, oil and gas, or any manufacturing, construction, any labor or intensive industry that requires um, the trades or skills, there's a lot of certification and documentation that's required before someone can go and work on a job site. So, for example, if you wanted to go and say work for Ballet on their mine site, you couldn't just go and walk into the mine. There's quite a significant amount of training that you would have to complete before you would be safe to go to the mine and before they would even let you in. So keeping track of that information is pretty challenging because one person could have as many as 30 or 40 different trainings. And so the system that we built tracks all that information and makes sure that the different certifications and documentation is up to date. So, for example, if you require a orientation training for a specific mine site that is valid for 2 years, our system will ensure that as you are getting close to expiry, not only you but your employer is notified that your certification is about to expire, and there'll be information about where you can renew. So how this plays out for other employers and what we've learned in our journey is this. If you're an employer right now, I think the biggest thing is that the biggest word in the industry right now is there's a labor shortage, there's difficulty hiring, and it takes a lot of time to hire people. So we did some research to kind of or understand what the problem is, and we did this also for ourselves as we've been hiring, and we realized that when you're hiring using the traditional job boards, like say using Indeed or LinkedIn and whatnot, you get a deluge of people who are applying for for jobs, but may not be necessarily qualified. So our system helps you sift through the information and highlight candidates who are qualified based on the certifications, the documents, and things that you're actually looking for, so that you can communicate with the candidates who have the qualities and certification training that you require for your company.
Awesome, great. Thank you. Thank you to hear that, Vic. So let me ask you, I heard in one of our meetings, because you're a member of the Entrepreneur Nation, I heard you talking about Easter egg. How does the Easter egg concept help with job descriptions and how it improves the candidate selection process?
Sure, absolutely. So what my clients have told me, or what our clients have been experiencing, is that when they post a job on, say, Indeed or LinkedIn or any of the other platforms there, those platforms have evolved to make it easy for candidates to apply for any job. Doesn't really matter if you're qualified. There's some matching there, but they give every candidate the opportunity to apply for a job. Now, what this does for the employer is, when they post a job, they could get maybe up to 500 applicants for a particular job. Now, if you're the HR person, you're probably feeling very stressed about that, because now you have 500 people that you have to get back to. And even if you spent, say, 5 minutes or 10 minutes just reviewing each person, 500 of it is a huge amount of time. And so when we came up with I won't say we, because this is the Easter egg concept is something that a lot of companies use. So what we've suggested and recommended to our clients to do is to include an additional step in the in the job descriptions that requires the candidates to do one more thing. The one more thing in our case is having them set up a profile and upload the documentation on our platform, which the employer accesses. And that really kind of sifts through the great number of applicants, so that only people who actually complete this step get put in a short list, so to speak. So you may have 500 applicants, but you would have maybe 50 of them have completed the Easter egg step. So what this does is it reduces the amount of time that you have to spend from 500 times 10 minutes to just 50 times 10 minutes.
Wonderful. So great to know that, Vic. So I wanted to ask you then, maybe going a little bit deeper in details, what are the specific qualifications and requirements that an employer can set on Labor Day to make sure that they are sieving and getting the right candidates coming through?
Yeah, that's a great question, Lucy. So on our platform, you can basically customize any certification document that you're looking for that is a prerequisite for employment in your company. So it could be simple things like your WMIS working with hazardous materials training. It could be if you are hiring, for example, you're hiring truckers, they would require, say, an AZ license. So you can configure any requirement in your document. So if you're in a different field, say for example you're in real estate, you want a copy of the real estate license of your agents, you can track that as well. If you are in, say for example, you're in healthcare and there are other different requirements that you need to track, all those different requirements can be set up. We have a database that you can use, and you can also specify anything that is particular to your organization. So if your name doesn't match our name, you want to use your name, no problem, you can go ahead and do that. That is presented to the candidate when they ask to upload the information.
Wonderful. And you know what? I see that you've actually started the process of trademarking the company, because as soon as people know what they can do, people might start stealing your ideas. And so I like that you're in the process of trademarking and nobody can steal those ideas. So, or use the company name. So I wanted to ask you then, how is Labor Day different from other job boards like Indeed, LinkedIn, and all the others that we see out there? How is it different, Vic?
Sure. So the way we're different, I think, is we have put the focus on the employers. So Indeed and LinkedIn and the other different platforms, they put the emphasis on the job seeker. So they're trying to get the job seeker to apply for as many jobs as possible, and they also try to prioritize the employer by getting as many employers on the platform. But this results in the issue where tons of people who are not qualified apply for jobs because the application process is so simple. I'm not against simple application processes. Simplifying processes is very important and will result in better outcomes for companies. But then we also have to weigh that against the quality of the candidates that are coming in. So on our system, uh, we're we're employer focused. So when the employer wants to speak to a candidate, that's when they'll know about the job posting or the job listing. They'll be asked if they would actually want to be considered for a job, and they can decline at any time. But that process is now on or the focus of the process is on the employer, not as well as the candidate, but weighted towards the employer. Does that explain? Does it answer your question?
Awesome. Yeah, great. It does. So then, from what I'm hearing, is the others are really wanting as many candidates to go in and apply, but you're helping the employer not to have a very huge workload. Yes, the employer won't get the candidates they want, but
Yeah.
not having a big, like having to do a lot of work to get that candidate. So my next question for you is then that what are the extra steps that you have added in Liberty that makes it easy for the employer to get the right people? What are those extra steps?
Yeah. So the extra steps that we've added, and there are not too many extra steps. The first one, obviously, is the inclusion of the Easter egg, which is hidden in the job description. You have to actually read the job description to find uh, what what is being asked of you. Now, um, that is one of the key steps, and what that does is really sift through the number of applicants so that you know who's applying and that they actually did read the job description and they know which job they're applying for. And then the second step is once the candidate comes into our system, we are tagging their profile with tags which you have pre-set up. So if you say, for example, you set up a job and say I apply for the job and I'm applying for, say, a driver position. My profile will have that driver tag. So next time you have another driver job that comes up, anyone who has ever applied to a driver job, you can apply that tag and I will show up in the shortlist. So what we try to do is give you tools to simplify and sift through the information. Now, all the information on the candidates is available to yourself and your team in one dashboard versus what might happen, being sent hundreds of resumes in email and trying to remember who is applying for what job. This kind of helps you consolidate all your information in one place.
Wonderful. And Vic, I really like that. So I wanted to ask you, and thank you for telling us about your own personal process, your company, how you have used that. But let me ask you, do you have any testimonials from your clients without necessarily disclosing the client names and information, positive testimonials from clients themselves of how they have used this and how it has worked for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think most of our clients are generally happy with our platform and happy with the fact that we're saving them time. Most of them tell us that they've reduced their time that they spend on hiring between 60 to 70% of the time that they would traditionally spend going through the process. Is saved. Another one of my clients who I was talking to just last week. They were telling me that they were working for a municipality and they were hiring for drivers and whatnot, and they had to actually manually go through every single resume that came in to identify people who had the specific license that they did. They spent days doing that because there were a huge number of applicants. Now, I showed them on our platform how we could do that in 2 minutes or less. So, I'm not saying, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, we'll that our software will help you save a lot of time. I say, give it a try and see for yourself what it does, because I think it can help you.
Wonderful, and great to hear that, Vic. So I wanted to ask you this. Who are typically your clients? Like, I've heard you talk about the trucking companies. I've heard you talk about the mining companies. Are people like me, small business owners, can they be part of your client? Do you tell us who are your clients?
Sure, absolutely. So when we started Laborly, initially our focus was with the mining, the skilled trades, construction companies, because they have the certification and document management piece, which is a key part of their process, right? So they if you're working in mining, if you want to work in construction, manufacturing, you need to have training before you can actually go to your job site, be it safety training or physical assessments on whether you can actually do the work. So that is where our platform will give you an immediate benefit. But we've also realized, in speaking with other industries and other companies, that the hiring process has evolved since the pandemic, and now so many people are applying for jobs. Having using our process with an Easter egg really helps reduce the amount of time. So that Easter egg process that we've introduced is industry agnostic. You can be in any industry and benefit from that. Now, if you're a small business and you tell me, hey Vic, I'm a small business, I maybe hired 1 or 2 people a year, I'm not posting hundreds of jobs, what can I use your platform? And I'll say, yes, absolutely, you can use our platform. Why? Because when you make a job post, you will definitely have a whole bunch of people apply for that particular job. Now, if you're a small business and you don't have a particular HR department, then typically all these people who have applied are going to be in your inbox, living in some folder somewhere, maybe, or in your huge inbox, depending on how you organize your information. Now, what you could do with our platform is have all their profiles in one centralized location. The next time when you have a job posting, you can reach out to all these people that are already familiar with your company and say, hey, you were not successful the last time, but we have another job opening. Would you like to apply again? So this is going to give you much better leads. Good people know good people, and typically when you want to hire from a pool of candidates who are already familiar with you, your company culture, have some kind of interaction with you. So this helps you do that.
Awesome, great. Thank you to hear that the small business owners are taken care of. Vic, there's somebody who told me, a small business owner, they posted something on Indeed and they got 400 applications. Who has time to go through 400 applications to get one candidate, right? So they gave up.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the problem we're trying to solve now. Yeah. How do we reduce that 400 applicants down to a manageable, say 10 or 20 that you can actually talk to?
Awesome, great. Really, I like that. And I wanted to ask you, and I don't know if you're comfortable saying this so our viewers can hear, employers out there, what is the pricing like? I don't want to leave that if you're comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, sure. So we have pricing on our website, but that pricing that's there is catered towards agencies, so people who are hiring constantly. For companies that small businesses or have companies that have different requirements, the best thing to do is just to have a conversation with us, and we will find a price point that works for you. So we want you to benefit from our platform. Don't let price be the thing that stops you from talking to us and seeing if you can benefit from using it.
Awesome. So this sounds like a very exciting platform, software. And Vic, you actually built this with a team of other software developers. Did you buy it from somebody or did you build it from the scratch?
No, we built it from scratch. We have a good team of developers and UI UX people working with us. We put a lot of time into trying to make the interface as clean and as simple as possible so that you can interact with it easily. One of the comments I get from a lot of people that I speak to is how easy it is for them to use it, or it seems easy for them to use it. And it is. That's the whole goal behind it. We've streamlined things to make it very clear and very easy. You don't need a manual to use it. You can just follow the instructions and you'll be good. But yes, we did not buy this software. We created this software from scratch.
Awesome, great, congratulations. It's great to know that in Canada we have people like you can do such things, because a lot of times we see things coming from the US and other places. So I'm very proud when I see a product coming from Canada that makes a lot of impact. So I want to ask you then, what is the future? What is the future like for Liberty? You might get as many people as possible. Do you have the capacity? What's the future?
We definitely do have the capacity. We engineered the systems to scale. So from an engineering perspective, there's no limit to the number of clients we could acquire. But really, what we want to do, the future of Laborly, is about empowering employers as well as employees, job seekers, to get connected and get connected quickly. It's important for employers to find the right candidates, and it's also important for candidates to find the right employers. And that's what we want to promote, and that's what we want to achieve in the future.
Wonderful, great. We are coming to an end of this conversation, Vic, and I appreciate you. Congratulations for what you're doing. So here is my question for you. I reached out to you, Vic, a couple of years back. I don't remember which years, on Facebook. We were connected on Facebook. Sometimes we forget how we meet with people. And I reached out to you because I saw what you're posting, great things, and your wife, Jen, and I thought, I want these people to be part of my network. And so I talked to you about the Entrepreneur Nation, and you joined to represent IT Signed. You joined the London downtown. I think it must be 3 years back. And so you also invited your wife, Jen, to join. How is it going?
It's going amazing, Lucy. Thank you so much for hosting the Entrepreneur Nation. I really enjoy our chapter meetings and even our after five mingles with the team. With everyone, just to meet business entrepreneurs and professionals in a different setting. Like, for us, we're a remote company. We all work from home offices and whatnot. So I didn't really get out much. I have. But now, since joining the 10 Nation, I'm able to actually meet other like-minded professionals and go out a little and get to know them, which has been very, 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 very rewarding experience for me.
Awesome. And so you finally, then I approached you again. And, after you formed Liberty, you are the CEO of Liberty. After doing all this, I requested you to join the CEOs Club, which you did. And you actually also invited your wife to join the CEOs Club to represent the other business that you have. How is it going at the CEO level?
It is an amazing group of people that you have put together. I love the conversations that we have. Everyone is so helpful and has got great insight. The group meets, and some of the members have been in business for 30, 40 years. And, they share the wealth of information. And so there's an amazing group that you have. Lucy, thank you again for inviting us to it. We found it very beneficial for us just to hear from other business owners, to find out, issues that they face and solutions that they have to problems. It's when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you think that you're alone and there's no one there to help you, but there are other entrepreneurs who are more than willing to help you out.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Vic, for your time today and for everything we've been learning from you and from Jen. And we'll continue to work with you. If something comes up that you think our viewers need to know, please reach out and let's have you back.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Lucy.
Awesome. Our viewers, this is Lucy Jeffrey and Vick Ramachandran signing out now, and thank you for watching.